ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪੁ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪੁ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪੁ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪੁ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦਿ ਜਪੁ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨ ਜਾਨਾ ਨਾਹਿਨ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਕੈ ਅੰਚਲ ਲਾਵਹੁ ਬਿਖਮ ਨਦੀ ਜਾਇ ਤਰਣੀ ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਰ ਨ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੇਰੀ ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੀ ਮੇਰੀ तेरे जोर मैं गूंगा कहता हूँ तेरा सदका तेरी शरण
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी मन्नै पावहि मुख द्वार मन्नै परवारै साधार मन्नै तरै तारे गुर सिख मन्नै नानक भवहि न भिख ऐसा नाम निरंजन होए जे को मन जानै मन कोए मन्नै पावहि मोख द्वार।
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। धन धन सतगुरु पतित पावन भगत वत्सल किरपा दे खजाने जोत रूप धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दी गुरु खालसा साध संगत। We're blessed to be gathered here today to continue the discourse of Sri Japji Sahib. We've heard Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's discussions with the Siddhs. We've developed their initial questions, learn about hukam, how karam affect us, how the panch jor affect us, and how the only way is through spiritual development to gain liberation and oneness with Vaheguru, the Lord God who is the giver, the organizer and the deliverer of our life. This week we've come to the last pauri describing the extent of believing and the extent of what the believers, the believing Sikhs, and what their avastha, what their spiritual levels and how they live their lives. We've heard previously 3 paudiyaan regarding this. This is the last of a collection of 4 paudis, just after the 4 paudis regarding listening. We've learned that first we must listen to part that we do, listen to kirtan, listen to katha, listen and contemplate on the name. If we're doing Vaheguru Simran or Mool Mantar or reading any other part. And then if we focus and listen, in other words, let those sounds go into our ears, even if we don't understand them. Let those sounds of the part, of the Gurbani, of the Kirtan, of the Katha, let them go into our ears, and then we start trying to concentrate on them. When we start concentrating on them, through the blessings of Dhan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we will start to understand the teachings. And when we understand the teachings, we then, the next spiritual stage, which we've been listening over the last few weeks, is about believing those teachings, and then starting to follow those teachings, and starting to put them into our lives. So this week is the 4th paudi of the collection of 4, about the extent, the importance of believing, and the extent of a believer.
Satnam Sri Vaheguru Sahib Ji Manna Pavahe Mokh Dwar.
Manna, the believer, or the extent of a believer. Pavahe Mokh Dwar. Mokh means salvation or mukti or liberation. Dwar means door. So those who believe in the teachings of Dhan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, those who believe in the teachings contained in Dasa Padshahiyan Di Jot, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, what happens to them through their lives, it happens for some Gursikhs who are blessed during their lives, but others towards the end of their lives, they find Pavahe, they find the door, Dwar, Mokh, of Mokh, which is liberation, salvation. They find that door. They are blessed with that door. In other words, they are taken out of the 8.4 million lives, the 84 lakh June, which we have to go through, up and down those lives. And they are taken out of that because they find the door of salvation. They are blessed with becoming one with the Vaheguru, but only those who believe. Because if they believe, they start following those teachings. They follow the command because they truly believe. I mentioned once before that it's easy to say we believe. We're Sikhs, we believe in the Guru, we believe in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But actual believing is when you act on the teachings. It's not, true belief is not Sikh. True belief is when you act on the teachings, or when you start following the teachings. That is a true believer, and those who are true believers, they are the ones who are blessed in these teachings through these paudis. So those who are true believers, they find the door of liberation. They find the oneness with Vaheguru. Now, if we take that further, it's written in various old texts that there are 4 doors for salvation. The first door is called Samadhan. It's basically to stop your senses doing wrongful acts. It's to keep control of your senses. So you're doing positive acts with those senses. And when you start doing those positive acts, you start becoming content, because you're not at the whim of your emotions who lead your senses into wrongful deeds, and thus you become content with what you have. You are happy. You gain santok. That's the second. The third is what we call Sat Sangat. So Sat Sangat is what we are placed in today, discussing or singing the praises or contemplating on the praises of Vaheguru. And then the fourth, if we can contemplate on Vaheguru in Sat Sangat, we develop the strength to control our senses, and we gain content. We're happy with what we have got. We gain santok. Then we gain Brahm Gyan. Brahm Gyan, Brahm meaning Vaheguru, Gyan meaning the knowledge. So the knowledge of God, and true knowledge is only when you are there, when you are one with Vaheguru. So in Gursikhi sense, if we're the true believer, we'll find that door of salvation by going through those, let's say, doors, and become one with Vaheguru.
Manna parvara sadar.
So those believers not only save themselves, but parvara, their families, sadar. So they reform their families. Because they're believers and they're following the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, their life becomes very, very positive. They have their five senses, the Panch Jor under control. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, lust, greed, attachment, anger and ego. So they become under their control. They have a positive aura about them. And from their positive aura, in the first sense, their family members, their parents, their grandparents, their cousins, their brothers, their sisters, their uncles and aunts. And then once they get married, let's say their wife, their in-laws, and then their children, grandchildren, all their family is saved, they're reformed. Because of their aura, because of the Gursikh, who is a believer and follows the teachings, their positivity sends out messages and their aura helps reform all the family. Gursikhs also see this as their duty, because what they do when they grow older, they bring their children to the Gurdwara, because they realize that everything is contained in Dan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They don't take their family members to different places where there's a big thing these days, but it was there in the Guru's times as well, where everybody wants to be a Guru, everybody wants to be a spiritual teacher, everybody wants to be a guide, everybody seems to have this knowledge, everybody seems to be able to sort out issues for other people. And they tie taggi around you, strings, and if you do this on this certain day, then these khushiyan, these happiness will come to you. But the giver of true happiness, and if the giver can give true happiness, then they can give you any materialistic thing as well. And there's only one giver who can give you true happiness, and that's the Lord Vaheguru, and in his Sargun Swaroop, in this world now, is Dan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, who contains the messages of Vaheguru, the Jodh of the 10 Gurus. So this is the only place you can gain happiness. So a Gursikh, a true believer, will bring all their family, will show the family, their family, this positivity from the Gurdwara, from Dan. And they will constantly bring them as part of the Saad sangat, so they can be reformed. So they can be reformed through the positivity and the aura of the Gursikh, of the true believer, but they're also reformed because the Gursikh brings their family members. There's many cases where one child in a family, or a parent, or an uncle, follows and believes the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, takes Khande Bate da Amrit, and slowly, the rest of their family, that love for Vaheguru, the teachings, they are passed on. They are brought into the Saad Sangat, and Guruji does his own kala and blesses the rest of the family members as well, so they become reformed. A Sakhi in the times of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Now there was a Gursikh called Bhai Akali, Bhai Akal Ji. Yeah, and he had a daughter, and he was a Gursikh from the times of Sri Guru Ramadas Sahib Ji, the 4th Guru, but he stayed until obviously the time of the 6th Guru, Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and he had a young daughter. Now in those days, the system of marrying children was such that in your village you would speak to a Siana person, in these days they call him a Jolla, and he would go out to various villages thinking about your characteristics, your family's characteristics, and then would find a suitable person to match the child for marriage. And what I mean by in those days, sometimes they would already sort out the marriage and come back and tell the father of the child and say it's sorted, even before the family is seen. So such an example was in this case. Bhai Sahib's daughter was of marriageable age, and he sent the Siana of his village to go and find a suitable match, a suitable husband. Now Bhai Sahib was a Gursikh of the Guru. He was a Gursikh, as I said, from the time of Sri Guru Ramadas Sahib Ji, and he was a Gursikh through the time of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and now in the time of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. So he was a true Sikh, he was a believer, he was a follower, of the path of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the embodiment of the Lord God, the giver, the organizer, the deliverer of our life, Vaheguru. And such time came when his daughter was of marriageable age, and he sent this Siana, this Vajola, this go-between, to go find a suitable match. And when this person went and found a match, he didn't realize, or he didn't think at that time, that this is a true Gursikh Parvar, a true Gursikh family. And he found a match for the daughter. And he came back and he told the father that we found a match and the marriage of your daughter has been set. Some time passed, because what they would do, they would find the match and then time would pass before the actual wedding. And when it came to be known that this family that the daughter was going to get married to, they were not believers in the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. They were followers of a person called Sakhi Sarwar, who was like, in this day and age, you could say in Punjabi, they would call him a peer. Yeah, and a lot of people in this day and age go to these people, like I said, they give you strings to tie, they say we'll sort out all your issues for you, your materialistic issues, if you've got a disease, if you need a child, whatever issue you've got, even if you want to do bad onto another person, they will say we'll do those actions for you as well. It's not the way or the path to find Vaheguru or the path to be liberated. It has become, or it was, and it is, a money-making scheme for a lot of these people. What we call Pakhandi Babe. Now, when the father realized that his daughter was going to be married into a non-Sikh family, a non-believer's family, he got really worried. But in those days, out of shame for his daughter, he couldn't say no to the marriage. But what he did, he spoke to his daughter and he said, they matha take, they bow their heads to the Sakhi Sarwar. But you, my daughter, we are believers in Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. You have to have trust, bharosa, and faith in the true Guru. And you do not bow your head to Sakhi Sarwar. You continue bowing your head to, at that time, Dhan Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. And think, contemplate the name of the true Guru, and everything will be fine. He thought about this pankti, this teaching, Manne Parvare Sadar, that because you will be a believer, your family will be reformed. He had that belief. It came to the wedding night, or the wedding day, and the daughter, she got married. And she was really sad, because she was really worried, thinking, I'm a Gursikh, I'm going into this family. It's very difficult for women when they get married, when they go into their in-laws' house. And a lot of the time, they have to follow the rules and the disciplines of that house. And so she was really worried that she would be led astray from the path of the true Guru. She wouldn't be allowed to sing the praises, sing Kirtan, do the Nitne and Baniya. She was really worried. But also in those times, the bride would be carried in what they call a doli. And people would carry her like a carriage, and they would carry the bride, and maybe the bridegroom would sit on a horse and follow or be ahead. And the rest of the party, the wedding party, would continue after. And as they both got married, and then as the bride is being taken to her new village, she was thinking about these thoughts, thinking about the true Guru. She's believing, she's keeping that faith in Dhan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's teachings. And she could hear, because in those days, weddings were done early in the morning, she could hear Asadibar Kirtan. So she realized that Guru Sahib Ji must be nearby. Dhan Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji was in a place called Pai Ki Daroli. Guru Sahib Ji stayed there for a few years at the house of Baba Sai Das, who was like their brother-in-law in relation. And when she heard Asadivar Kirtan and the doli, the carriage, the wedding party was going past that village, she paid the person taking the doli to say, please take me to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. And he, taking that money, he took her to Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's divan. Obviously the bridegroom was on his horse and he followed. The rest of the wedding party, the father of the bridegroom, they were a little bit behind. So husband and wife, the daughter of this, to the Darbar, the Saad sangat of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, where Asa Diwar was happening. Guru Sahib Ji was on their takht. Bibi Ji matha teked and she sat down in the Saad sangat. The husband came in and he sat down. At the end of the Asa Diwar Kirtan, Guru Sahib Ji called husband and wife to their sharan. She matha teked again. In her heart, she was crying. She realized she's been married into a family where they don't believe in the teachings of the true Guru, where they are following this Pakhandi Baba, these false teachings, which are not going to help her find liberation or oneness with the Lord. She was getting married in a family away from Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. So in her heart, she was crying. She didn't have to speak to Guru Sahib Ji. She was speaking the knower of all, Antarjamata. With the Antarjamata, the knower of Antarjamni is somebody who knows the inside of somebody, who knows the thoughts, the feelings. So Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, using the Antarjamata, realized what was happening. And in some ways we can say they were blessing this Bibi and her father because they were believers. That's the party we're thinking about. They were believers. They had true faith. They were true believers, so they were following. So in some ways, Guru Sahib, his own sharan, himself, they are blessing the husband and wife. And she did benti that I've been married into this family. I'm being taken away and it's going to be difficult for me. They believe in Sakhi Sarwar. And Guru Sahib Ji called the husband. And the husband came forward. And Guru Sahib Ji, through their luck, through their darshan, they blessed the husband with Gursikhi. Manne Parvare Sadar. So she was a true believer. Her father was a true believer. Her husband was reformed. He matha teked to the sharan of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji blessed them with true Gursikhi and gave them the strength to keep that faith. As husband and wife went back to their family home, he'd realized the true path through the darshan, through the vision of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Just by going there, he realized what the truth was. He was given true knowledge of Vaheguru, the true path of enlightenment, the true teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. He said to his parents, I am no longer a believer in Sakhi Sarwar. And he wanted to break down that samad, or the stone, the worshipping stone where they would worship. The family said, no, you can't do this. We're believers in Sakhi Sarwar. But that night, when they went to sleep, he woke up early and he smashed the samad, mashed the stone, the worshipping stones, or the worshipping place of Sakhi Sarwar. And from that day on, the family were true Gursikhs and they were believers in the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji through the blessing of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. But why? Because the Bibi who was to be married was a believer, a true believer. So sometimes we see in our families, whether they be our parents, whether they be who we are married to, whether they be our children, whether it be our brothers and sisters, if we remain faithful to the true teachings, if we remain faithful to Vaheguru, all our family, all those difficulties that we may have to face or that we are facing, they will be, through our faith, we will be blessed, they will be reformed, and our family will become Gursikhs, just like happened to this Bibi. Now, take the Sakya further. The husband and wife had a child. He was named Bhai-Rupa. There's actually a village named after him, Bhai-Rupa, in Punjab. And further Sakya, there was such prosan Guru Sahib Ji and Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji that when they would do their daily work, I think they were farmers and they would do their daily work in the farm. It was very hot one day and they had some water. But because they had prosan Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji and Vaheguru Ji, in their minds they thought, if it's really hot today, then Guru Sahib Ji, before we drink this water, Guru Sahib Ji's body, even though the true Guru doesn't feel any heat, doesn't feel any cold, but out of respect, they felt it's quite warm, it's quite hot today. Guru Sahib Ji, if Guru Sahib Ji came to us, then we could give him this water first before we would take it. And out of their belief, their faith, because they stuck with the Guru, out of their faith, and Antarjamni Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji again, knowing this, from their village where they were staying at, I said, Pai Ki Droli, a few villages away was Pai Rupa, or where the child Pai Rupa, he was a child. They came there, the Gursikhs followed thinking what's going on. They came there to take that water. They drank the water first before father and son drank the water. So they were blessed with Gursikhi and they were given Namdi Dad, they were liberated, the blessings of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Why? All because the bride, the Bibi, she was a believer and her father was a believer. They were true believers because they followed and Sadguru Sahib Ji blessed them and Manne, Paravare, Sadar, their family and all their future generations were blessed and they became Gursikhs. Now we can take this further spiritually as well. We could take our family of our senses. So we have 5 senses: touch, taste, smell, hearing, our hearing and our sight. And using those 5 senses, we do many wrongful acts. We listen to slander. We talk slander with our tongues. We look at wrongful things with our eyes. We taste and speak wrongful things. We touch wrongful. We use our sense of touch to do wrongful acts. And using our smell as well, we can, through our smell, we can think wrongful things. Now if we take that as a family of our senses, if we're believers, true believers, Guru Sahib Ji blesses us because we come to the Saad Sangat, they bless us, and what happens? Those senses become in our control. So instead of doing wrongful acts with those senses, we start doing positive things. We start coming and looking at Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Whenever we sit in the Gurdwara, we should always look and focus our attention to stand Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And through their saroop, their form, they will send out, if you would, a way of describing it. I don't know if this is exactly how it works, but a way that we can understand it is they send out their kirna, their blessings, into our eyes and into our souls. So sometimes we close our eyes in the Darbar Sahib. Now that's fine, we might be focusing on the Shabad. But because our eyes are closed, we can then, sometimes our mind can start thinking about other things. However, if we stare directly at Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we are directly being blessed through the vision of our true Guru. We listen to the Kirtan. We use our sense of touch to do positive deeds, good actions. You know? And so our family the family of our senses, they become reformed. Rather than doing wrongful things, we use our senses to do correct things, rightful things, positive things. But that only comes when we're a true believer. If we become a true believer, we start following, then Guru Sahib Ji blesses us. Paravara Sadar, the family of our senses, is also reformed, so we do positive deeds rather than negative ones.
Manna Tare Tare Guru Sikh.
So Manna, the true believer, Tare, he's already saved. So Tare, to tar is to swim. That's the literal translation, to swim. And metaphorically, we describe this world or this Rasila June as an ocean, and we're trying to swim across this ocean and become one with Vaheguru, who's on possibly the other side of the ocean. So this phrase, to tar, is constantly used in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So Manna, a true believer, is tare. He's already saved, he's already crossed the ocean. Tare, but what else does he do? Tare, he helps others, Gursikh, he helps other Gursikhs of the Guru. So he saved himself and he saves others. A true believer does that. So we mentioned that a little bit earlier with the family and bringing family to the Gurdwara and partaking in Saad Sangat, partaking in the Seva. In the same way, we don't just have to do it to our family, we do it to our family of Gursikhs. So we are saved, because we are blessed ourselves, we share those blessings with others. We show them the true light. So a true believer does that also. Now I'm going to share another Sakhi with you about Baba Bidhi Chand. Now Baba Bidhi Chand is known as Bidhi Chand Sheena Guru Ka Seena. Sheena was their village. They were from Sheena Pind. It's near Amritsar. And Guru Ka Seena, they were the heart of the Guru. For many times they did Seva. They fought in the battles with Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. And they saved Guru Sahib Ji's horses from the Mughals. We have shared that with you in previous weeks. Brought back to the Sharan of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. But they actually became a Sikh in the time of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, our 5th Guru. Now there was a Gursikh called Bhai Adli. And how Baba Bidhi Chand became a Sikh was in the following way. He actually used to be a chor, a thief. And he used to go from village to village and steal things, whatever he caught his eyes on. Now it still happens in this day and age in India. The majis, the buffaloes, there is a business to steal them and sell them on in different villages, because obviously they give milk. So, and they cost a lot of money to certain families who are quite poor. So at night time sometimes they steal the buffaloes and sell them in various villages. And one time Baba Bidhi Chand did that and collected a lot of those buffaloes, those majis, and stole them from one village. The villagers found out and started following and realized that they'd just been stolen, and they followed the road out of the village. Baba Bidhi Chand realized this and got really worried, and what he did, he took these stolen majis and he went into an adjoining village, and what they call a lake of the village, and we see those, they call them shepherds. It's quite dirty. That's where the majis, the sort of the animals, the pasus, have their baths, and you might see them in many villages when you go to India, and it's really, really dirty, the water. I can only describe it like a lake within the village, but it's quite dirty because all the animals generally bath in those. Okay, they call them shepherds. Okay, when you've been to India, you might have seen them yourselves. And what he did, he put the majis in the shepherd, and then he went outside, and Baba Adli Ji, they asked him, "What are you doing? Come inside." And they went into their house, and Baba Adli Ji asked Baba Bidhi Chand, and he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm really sorry. I'm a papi. I've done many wrongful deeds. I am a burglar by trade. I steal from various villages and sell in other villages. And what I've done at this point is I've stolen these buffaloes and I've brought them to this village and I've put them in the shepherd. But the villagers are after me. And I will be in serious trouble. I don't know what they're going to do to me. Please save me. Please save me. I will reform myself." Now, this is Baba Adli Ji, Aap Taraya. He's already saved. He's a believer of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. He's a true Gursikh. And what he's about to do, Tare, he's about to save Baba Bidhi Chand. And he saves Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji by saying to them, "If you really want to be saved, I can't save you, because a true Gursikh never, no matter how spiritually powerful they are, not like Sakhi Sarwar and these Pakhandi Babi, these dodgy people who join you with themselves, a true Gursikh will always join you with the true Guru. In this day and age, we join with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But in that time, Baba Adli Ji goes to Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji, "You sit here and do the Nitnem, read Gurbani of Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, and you focus on Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. And if you truly believe, you are going to reform yourself, you're going to go in a positive path, then Guru Sahib Ji will bless you. He will bless you, save you today, and then we'll go do Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji's darshan." While this was happening, Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji started doing part. These villagers from the village where the majis were stolen from arrived. They saw these buffaloes in the shepherd. And although there were 20 that were stolen, they counted there were 20 there. They looked at their sizes and their forms and they thought, these look like our buffaloes. However, there was one difference. The colour of the buffaloes had changed. The one, let's say for example, if there was a fat buffalo and he was brown, he'd become a fair-skinned buffalo. And so these villagers say, well, the big one wasn't dark, the big one wasn't fair-skinned, he was dark-skinned. And the ones who were, let's say the skinny buffaloes, if you could get skinny buffaloes, where they were fair-skinned, they'd now become dark-skinned. And they said they look like ours, there are 20 there, but the colour's changed. So they could be ours, they may not be ours. At this point, they knocked on the door of Baba Adli Ji and said, "You are a Gursikh of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, and our buffaloes have been stolen." Now a true Gursikh never tells a lie. And Baba Adli Ji says, well, somebody has left these buffaloes here in this shepherd. They're not from this village. So he didn't lie. He said, see if they're yours, take them. The villagers also asked about the thief. Now, Baba Adli Ji says, yeah, there is somebody who's come to my house. He didn't lie again. I don't know him. He's come to my house. The villagers through the blessings of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, because Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji was becoming a true believer. He had promised that he would follow the true path, which in history we see that he actually did. So it wasn't just for a minute, yes, Guru Sahib Ji, please save me now. I will do whatever you want. And try to get saved, but not really believe it. Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji really believed that he would reform himself. It was a point where he was being blessed by Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. So those villagers looked at the buffaloes and said, well, these are different colours, so they can't be ours. And the person who's just coming to your house, he can't be a thief, because you're a Gursikh of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. Why would you keep a thief? He must be a Gursikh as well. And the villagers went back to their village. Baba Adali Ji didn't lie, because they were true Sikh of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji was saved because he gave his true faith to Guru Sahib Ji, and Guru Sahib Ji blessed him and saved him. Now Baba Adali Ji said to Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji that whatever you've stolen, you need to give back to those various people, starting with the buffaloes and anything else you have in your house, and then we will go to the Sharan of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji. Which he did. So what Baba Adali Ji did, he was he was already saved himself, and now he just saved, through the blessings of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, he saved Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji and took them into the Sharan, into the sanctuary of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji, so they could be saved as well, and they became a true Gursikh. Now, once you get saved, so I'm going to take this Sakhi a little bit further about Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji, because once you become saved through the blessings of Guruji and the help of other Gursikhs, then you don't stop there. You then take that duty and try to save others. Now, we can't save anybody ourselves. That's the one key thing that we have to remember from this Sakhi. We cannot save anybody ourselves. It's Guruji who does the saving, but they do it through the Gursikh. The Gursikh, the believer, is the one who jors by spreading the true message through their Jivan, through the way they act, the way they live, and by sharing the wisdom, you can then save or help save another through the blessings of Guruji. So Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji became a true Gursikh of Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji in the four battles that Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji had. They brought the two horses back from the Mughals. One time, Sangat from Gujarat came to Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji and asked for Guru Sahib Ji to send a Gursikh to spread the message of Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji there. Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji thought of no other than Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji. And Baba Bidhi Chand Ji went to this place in Gujarat to spread the teachings, to do Saad sangat with the Sikhs there, spread the teachings, to join them with Nitnem, with Path, with Katha, with Kirtan, so they could follow this path of Gursikhi, the true path to find liberation. When they went there, at that area, there was another one of these, let's say, Pakhandi Babe, dodgy people who would use his magic tricks or his mystical powers to get people to join him so he could make money and say that he was doing things for them. Now when Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji got there, first thing Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji did was sat under a tree. And that tree was what they call Sukya Hoya. It was dry. It had no leaves. There was no vegetation. There was nothing blooming on that tree. And when he sat under that tree and did Nitnem, the tree became Harya Parya. Leaves grew on that tree. So a tree that was dried up became Harya Parya. It became full of leaves. It became full of life again. And many people of that town saw that. Now that wasn't Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji using their powers. That was through the command of Akal Purkh Vaheguru and the blessings of Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. It happened automatically. Because wherever a Gursikh goes, through their aura, positivity happens. And where there was death in that tree, there was now life. Through the positivity of the Nitnem, of the Jivan, of the living of Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji, who now was saved himself. This person who had all these mystical powers became very jealous and got worried because he thought, look, if a Gursikh or somebody with this kind of spiritual power, because he could only see that power of the tree, the dead tree becoming with life again. So he didn't see Gursikh sharing the teachings. He saw somebody with spiritual power that would challenge him. So he got worried and he had this lion, this sher, in his control, and he sent this sher to try and kill Baba Bidhi Chand Sahib Ji. Now this sher came to attack Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji. Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji was doing their Nitnem again and just stared at the sher. Just by looking at the sher turned to stone. The lion turned to stone and stood still. So at this point, this person with the mystical powers realized that this must be a true messenger from God. Now Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji was a true messenger from God, because if we think about it, Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji is the 6th form of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. They are the embodiment of the Lord God Vaheguru, who came on this earth themselves to save humanity in the 10 forms, and then collected the teachings in now the 11th form, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Jod of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, the Sargun Sarup. So we have Vaheguru as Nirgun, where God is everywhere. That's how we describe God is everywhere. Nirgun means no characteristics. So we can't see, feel, touch God. We can experience them through spirituality. And then we have Sargun Sarup. Sargun means every characteristic. So we can see them, we can feel them, we can hear them. And that's Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji in this world. So through the blessings, the messenger of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, or Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the messenger of God, Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji, is realized by this person who has these mystical powers. He falls at their feet. He realizes that this is a true messenger. He begs to be saved himself. The soul that was in the lion comes out. The soul is saved, is liberated. Now we can say, well, Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji is not the Guru. How does he do that? It's a question that arises. However, this is all done through the blessings of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the true Guru. And Guru Sahib Ji is working in Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji. That's why they were given that name, Bidi Chand Sheena, Guru Ka Seena. They are the heart of the Guru. So Guru Sahib Ji is working through them. And actually, the message that is being given out is Manne, Tare, Tare, Gur Sikh. Tare, because Baba Bidi Chand Sahib Ji was once the person who needed to be saved. Now they are saved. They are Tare, they are already saved. And what are they doing? They are Tare, they are saving other Gursikhs, they are saving other beings. They've just blessed the villagers at that village there with Gursikhi. They've blessed this person with mystical powers by going there. He has seen his wrongful ways and has now started to live a positive life. The Sher who was under that mystical powers control is now saved and is liberated. So a Gursikh who's a believer, once they are saved, they then start saving others, not through their ego, but just by their life, the way they live their life, their aura. People just look at them and start, because they're so positive, it has that positive message is passed on, so other people around them start being positive. And then through their teachings, when they're spreading the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, then they are then saving the others, because that helps the others to follow these teachings, the only teachings that are going to help us find liberation in Kal Yug, and the teachings contained in the 11th form of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, who are Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, who are Prakash Roop, whose light is in every single Gurdwara Sahib. So, Manne, those who are believers are already saved, Tare, but then they also Tare, they also save Gursikh, they also save other Sikhs of the Guru. And not just Sikhs, they save the rest of the creation by spreading the positive message, the positive teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji contained in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. The true believer, those who believe, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us, Pavahe na Pikh. Pikh means to beg. Pavahe means to go in that way, or to go in that path of begging. They don't become beggars. They're never beggars, the true believers, because they have complete faith in the true Guru. Well, we can't say they are beggars. They're only beggars to one person, if we want to call them a person. They're only beggars to the Supreme Being, to Akal Purkh Vaheguru or Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the form of the 10 Gurus. A true believer would only beg to them to have their happiness, to have their kushiyan of the Guru, and to be saved, to be liberated, to find oneness, to have the kirpa of Naam. That's the only place a true believer will beg. Out in the world they will never beg, because they have true faith on the Guru. Just like the Sahibzade, they didn't beg. the Mughals to save their life when they were going to, the Chhote Sahibzade were going to be bricked alive. They never begged. They had faith in Vaheguru. They had faith in their father, our father, Dhan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, to save them. So Gursikhs, believers, true believers, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us that they are not beggars. If we want to take that further, Bik can also be translated to Bek. So Bek means the Khaba Karna, or showing off. Showing off to who? Showing off to society. So true believers don't necessarily have to show off to society. They live simple lives. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us. They follow the path of humbleness. And they have their 5 jewels under control. And they live simple lives. They don't show off to society or try to follow society. Because they're believers, they have faith. They know where their path is. Their path is trying to become one with Vaheguru. Now just another point to note here. So out of these 4 pauriyan, describing the extent of believing and the spirituality of the believers, this is the only pauri out of those 4 that has the word Nanak in. Now generally in Gurbani, when any Guru signs off the pauri or the Shabad, they would use Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's name to show that it's the same form of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. But out of these 4, this 4th one is the only one that has Nanak in it. So what I'm trying to say to you, because the first 3 didn't have Nanak in it, that doesn't mean that that's not Gurbani. Okay? So some people could say that because those first 3 Manne Shabads didn't have Nanak in there, they're not signed off by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, then they can't be Gurbani. And many times over many years, you have people who say this, not just in Japji Sahib, but in other parts of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, where Nanak isn't. They would say, well, Nanak's not there, so that can't be Gurbani. However, the form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji we have now, from Ang 1, Japji Sahib, all the way to 1430 Angs, the last part being Rag Mahalla, there's many places where Nanak doesn't come. All that Bani contained there is the Bani of the Gurus, is Turki Bani, the message of Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji contained in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So we should never question that. So I just wanted, it comes up at this specific point. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, Manna, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us those who are believers, they don't beg the world, they don't beg society because they have faith, and they don't show off, they don't show off and follow society because they have faith. They're true believers in the message of Vaheguru, and they know where they are going.
Aisa naam naranjan hue.
Such is the name, the immaculate name of Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji.
Je ko man jana man koe.
And if we believe, man jana, in our mind, man koe, if we believe in our mind the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the teachings contained in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we will also obtain that name, the naam of the immaculate, the pure Vaheguru, Niranjan. If we believe and we start following the teachings in our mind, then we will find naam, we will find oneness, we will become one with Niranjan, the true Lord Vaheguru, the pure Lord Vaheguru, and we will be blessed with liberation and ultimate peace, and we'll be taken out of the 84 lakh Jones, the 8.4 million lives. That's it for this week. That was the 15th Pauri, and it completes the collection of 4 Pauris regarding the importance of believing and what happens when you believe and how you are blessed when you're a true believer. Next time, the Siddhs will ask the next stage, because I've said before, the 3 stages can be to listen, then to believe, and then to act. So next time's Pauri, it's a longer Pauri, but it describes the extent of those who then become to act and the blessings they get. And that's not going to be in a collection of 4, just like the listening and the believing ones were. That's going to be in one Pauri, and that will be next time. We will learn about the extent of those who have acted. So they've listened, from listening they've developed to believing, and they then act, and which we call Nidyasan Karna. And then we will see the blessings they receive from Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. If I've offended anybody, or I'm sure I've made many mistakes, please forgive me. You, the Saad Sangat, can forgive me and hopefully bless me with true Brahm Gyan, so I can continue sharing the teachings with yourselves, and so I can learn myself as well, and we can all learn together. We can all be blessed by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's form in Kaljug now. Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. I hope they bless us all with Gur Sikhi di daat, with Naam di daat, so we can all be saved. Deho sajan asish chiriyan, jo hova sahib syo mel.
ਐਸਾ ਨਾਮ ਨਿਰੰਜਨ ਹੋਏ, ਜੇ ਕੋ ਮਨ ਜਾਣੈ ਮਨ ਕੋਇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।